Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a guitar pick necklace. So there's a few things you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need some guitar picks. So I've got these Beetle guitar picks here that I'm going to be using. You can really use any guitar pick, but I would recommend using the plastic ones because they're going to be easier for what for the technique we're going to use to actually put them on some sort of necklace itself. You're going to need some little loops. So I've got these ones here. They're just the ones that's like a piece of metal that wraps around. So if you can see that there, it's just got the different layers that you can spread apart to put through a hole. You're going to need some form of necklace. So I've got a metal chain here that I'm going to use. And that's going to allow us to just put the loop over the chain with the pick on it. You could even use anything like this is some paracord. You could use that as a necklace if you wanted to. If you don't want to use a metal chain, you could use even some like macrame if you wanted to, just to have something else to make the necklace string out of, basically. But the way that I'm going to do this is with a push pin and some sort of lighter. So I've got this little torch here. It's like a kitchen torch, but you can use even just a regular lighter if you want to, just something to heat up the end of this pin to be able to melt through the plastic to make a hole in it. But you could use a drill if you want to, but it's hard to hold down the actual pick while you're trying to drill into the pick itself. So I find that this is much easier because as soon as you get this heated up, it'll just melt right through the pick. So I'm going to open these up and we are going to get to that first step of actually melting the hole through it. Okay, so we are ready to go. We got our push pin, and this is important because if we're going to heat this up, we want something to hold on to that's not going to heat up as well. One thing to be aware of, if you heat this up too much, it will start to warm up the plastic around it, and that needle portion could fall out. The other thing that's important to mention is if you're going to do this, whether with a drill or with fire, it's important to have either parental supervision or be comfortable with doing this. You don't want to injure yourself and cause any sort of damage to your fingers or potentially burn anything else that you don't want to. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that you are doing this in a safe manner and that you are making sure that if you are a minor or again someone who needs the extra assistance, that you have that there with you. Another thing that's important just to make sure that this job is done correctly is you can see I've marked a little dot on there just in pencil. I measured across to make sure that I got the halfway point, and then I took one of these rings that we're going to use later and I just laid it over top to see what a good point would be for it to go through the pick. And usually around about a third or so of that loop will give you enough room for a cord or a chain or something to go through. So that's kind of how I made that spot on the pick itself. And yeah, so now that's ready to go. And I mean, you could freestyle it if you want, but I would say making the dot is going to give you a lot more accuracy to where that goes in. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this torch on. You can use a regular lighter if you want. And I'm going to hold the metal portion in the flame until it heats up enough. Usually this will actually change color to about like a red or an orange sort of color to it. And then you can just easily push it right through the pick because the pick's just plastic. So I will do that for you now. Again, please be safe if you're going to do this. Okay, so if you can see that, that's nice and warm. And that's going to go right through the pick. Okay. So now you can see there is a hole in the pick there. And we can then go and feed our loop through it. So you just separate that to get onto the pick. And start to feed it through the hole, twisting that around. Okay, and there we go. So now it is on the loop itself. And if we take our chain, we can feed our chain through the loop And there we have it. We have a pick on a chain necklace. And I'll show you just what it can look like in a few other settings with a couple other chain materials or string materials as well, just so you have an idea. But that's basically it. It's fairly simple. Most of it is just making sure that you're doing it carefully and safely to get the job done without injuring yourself. But yeah, I'll show you a few other ones, and then you can hopefully try this out for yourself. Okay, so here are two different options of the way doing this with metal chains, almost like a his and hers, if you will, and just to show you kind of how they look in different chains, a thin one or a thick one. Okay, and here are some cord options. So again, this is just some macrame cord, and this is a paracord. And you can see how this could give you just a totally different vibe, right? Like this is giving you more kind of like outdoorsy beach style vibes. This one here, actually, you could maybe even tie like shells or other things in there just to kind of really modify that look as well. But it just gives you some options on how that could be used. So for all of the band lovers, whether it's, you know, a band style pick or you're a guitar player or whatever it is, this is just a few options to make some guitar pick necklaces. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please just like and subscribe, and that really helps me out. But I hope that you go and you take a chance and see if you can make one of these as well. It's a fun little project. It's pretty simple, but I think it's a nice sort of aesthetic to have if you're gonna wear something like this out. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Love you guys.